We got CEO in the building. What's poppin', bro?
Nothing much. How you doing today?
So that you all the way from Virginia, originally from Indiana, as you were telling me off camera, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, solid. So how long you been in the Bahamas now?
I've been in the Bahamas since July, so for about 6 months now.
All right, you enjoying your stay?
I am enjoying my stay here. I like the beaches, like the weather. So it's pretty nice here.
All right, what about the women?
The women is women is definitely nice here too. You know, I got to keep to myself though, but they nice here.
I got you. All right, so now you're introduced to a mutual friend, Lil T, right?
Yes.
And he put me onto your music, and he is really persistent about it, and passionate about it, and he believes a lot in you. You know what I mean? And I listened to your single. It's your single, right? Freedom.
Yes, my freedom. It's freedom.
Right. And so what inspired that track? Because it has a mix of jazz to it, and the hip hop flavor. So what inspired that track?
When I first actually got the instrumental, that's the first thing I noticed was the jazz, a little bit of jazz behind it. Got the old school hip hop sound to it, and I'm 30 now, so I like the old school little flavor, but I also wanted to keep the up tempo, new school type music with it too. So that's what inspired it. Plus certain things that happen in around the states, everything that's going on now pretty much inspires those type of songs.
Okay, I got you. So, now we are talking off camera, we are talking about how, you know, you found the Bahamian music scene. Like, you had mentioned that if you approach places in the States, they won't even respond to your email if you don't have 1 million followers, but you found that to be different here. So tell me more about the differences in the landscape when it comes to the music industries.
I think one of the main differences between the Bahamas and the United States is radio is very prevalent here still. Mm-hmm. And in the United States, you could be an artist, make a couple of videos, you could put your song on Spotify, iTunes, do it all yourself, and build a brand up that way. Whereas here, I actually found out Spotify, I don't even know if it's actually available here in the Bahamas. So it makes radio even more prevalent. So it's kind of like an old school way of finding out DJs, getting your stuff played on the radio, building your brand up that way, and people actually looking forward to helping you do that in the Bahamas. So that's what I like about it.
Okay, that's good. So you have a particular producer you work with, or what?
I do have a particular producer. Not so much in the previous, but in the future, he actually has a group. It's called All Grind No Sleep. It's about 4 or 5 different producers, but the main one I work with is the beat man. His name is Jay, but his producer tag is the beat man.
All right, that's good. So your message, when I heard freedom, it's very progressive. It's one of liberation, standing firm, standing for something. Tell me about the story behind the mindset and how you came to that point to decide that this is the type of content that you want to produce and be known for.
I feel like certain things that people go through put them in certain situations, and I think just being a minority in general, you kind of realize you got a different standard than everyone else, and I just want to just bring out that side of me and show the world who I am as a person, and I think freedom just represents that.
So that standard that you're talking about, being a minority, how do you find yourself adjusting to that? Do you think the race in general is ready to live up to that standard, is living up to that standard? Two-part question.
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
All right, so being a minority,
okay.
I wanted to know how you balance the higher standard that you would mention.
Okay.
As far as being a minority, you have a higher standard.
Okay.
So how do you balance that? How did you get to the point to live up to and exceed that standard? And the second part is, do you feel like the race, the minorities in general, are living up to that standard, or they could improve?
I feel like me personally, at times it could be a little overwhelming living up to a higher standard, but at the same token, it only makes you stronger as a person. So if you setting your standard higher than anyone else possible, then when you fall short, you still high. I think that's how I look at it. As far as everyone else, I think everyone else just, I mean, you just get in where you fit in pretty much. Everybody got different morals, different ethics, standards. So I can't really speak on other people, but just for me, I feel like setting myself to a higher standard is just a way of life for me.
That's a good answer. So you got a chance to listen to any of the local music? Has you had any of the local artists?
I have actually, in my music video, I have Judah the Lion. And I checked out some of his music. He got a nice Instagram presence, a nice following. So I actually like his voice. He actually got it. I don't know how to explain it, but he got a nice voice. I like Judah the Lion. I checked out. I actually saw Support an Artist Friday show, and I checked out a guy that was on there. His name was Bones. He was a hip hop artist. Never met the guy, but I like some of his music as well.
All right. So your project on Spotify, well, first, how far have you spread your music locally in the Bahamas?
So far, honestly, anybody that I really come across, I try to relay a message that I am a hip hop artist. But at work, radio stations, I mean, pretty much anybody I can get my hands on, and they listen to music, I'm telling them I do music. So
you gotten any feedback from it?
The feedback.
What's the feedback been like, you should say?
The feedback, it's been some positive. It's also been some I would say constructive criticism as well that I can take. As far as just my visual presence, it was my very first music video. So as far as bringing more energy, standing up a little bit more tall, things of that nature, just doing that a little bit better.
You're studying your game tapes, right?
Yes, studying my game tape.
Right. So I saw you worked with one of he's a prominent director, Lovato Substance video.
Yes.
So
yes.
How did you link up with him, and what was that experience like?
Same thing, pretty much. Just I first got here, and I knew that out of all my songs on my project that I came out with called The Reinvention 2, I knew that was the one that will resonate with people, because everybody's been through situations. Everybody wants freedom. This is everybody. So I actually emailed a guy named Daniel. I think his name is Batsall, and he put me in contact with Lovato Stubbs, and he told me he does music videos and contact him. So that's how I got in contact with him. Emailed him. We met up, and everything else the rest was history.
All right, that's good. So what I wanted to ask was, in Indiana, what's the hip hop music scene like?
Midwest, it's tough to put a tag on it, but I would have to say it's more lean towards East Coast type music. But we had some nice artists. We got a guy named Emily. He's pretty nice. Josiah, a guy, he's pretty nice. We got some nice artists. It's just it's not so much of a big hip hop scene yet, but it will be.
Okay, so you guys more underground. Has it ever been any major hip hop artists to pop from Indiana yet?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, so but just to spread the culture, who are some? Well, you named some, but do you guys have like open mics, or how do you guys display your skill besides just making records? Besides making records,
it's kind of tough. I can't really say too well, because when I started making music, actually, for real, I was in Virginia, and they do have open mics. Virginia has it's a lot of cities. They have open mics. They have places where you can just go sign up and perform. They have a lot of options and varieties. It's still tough if you don't have a big following, but to get your name out there, start up, they do offer those type of situations.
All right, so you gain any traction in Virginia?
Unfortunately, I did not gain any traction in Virginia. I've actually gained more traction since I've been here in 6 months than I have in about 2 years in Virginia. So.
And I mean, you say you call yourself the CEO, so you working totally alone, no manager, no team?
No manager. I can't say I don't. I can't say alone. Nobody does anything alone. I got a you know, a good friend of mine's, Lil T. He helps me out, especially here. I don't really know too many people here. I'm not from here, so he also helps me out. Lovato Stubbs again is another person who took my project on. Never knew me, never even heard of me, and he decided to shoot a music video for me. And this guy has done pretty big music videos and pretty big projects. So for him to take on an up and coming artist, that's a big help right there. Again, Judah the Lion, he didn't have to be in a video, but he chose to. He's a pretty prominent artist here too. So I've had some help definitely along the way, and it's pushed me a lot further than I had been in my career.
Okay. All right. So off camera, we were talking a little more about the minority struggle, specifically in the United States, right?
Yes.
And you were telling me some of your story and basically how that even added to the elements that created freedom. So I mean, you could speak on it, you know what I mean? From your college days, basically everything you were just telling me.
Yeah, so I had a situation. I pretty much went to college. I joined, you know, fraternity. I joined. I was in all these programs for school, and graduated. I was looking for a job as an accountant, which is where I got the name CEO from. And long story short, pretty much we took these tests, and they were hiring 5 candidates. I was ranked number 2, didn't get the job, and from that point on, I realized it was just a continued cycle. You see all these things and you hear these things, and you don't think it's actually true until it happens to you. And then when it happens to you, now you got to readjust and try to find out where to go from there.
Okay, and what I'd like you to speak on too is I guess the misconception that people have about fraternities in the context of furthering your career and situations like that, because a lot of persons were in your shoes and made decisions based on, I guess, an idea that they, like I said, they may have been confused about. So you mind shedding a little more light on that?
Well, I can't speak to them. I don't want to speak on that one, but I will say do things for the reason, for a valuable reason, for something that you really want to stand for. I wouldn't say do something for an underlying cause. Those two things differ by a lot, and when you do something for an underlying cause, usually it doesn't work out the way you plan.
Okay, so freedom, you were talking a lot about mental liberation. Give me some practical ways that you would tell your audience or someone that looks up to you how to liberate themselves mentally.
That's a good question. I would say the main thing for me is educate yourself. That would be the main thing for me. And you don't have to go to no fancy school. You don't have to. I mean, the main thing is to just read. If somebody tell you something, maybe you should go back and check it out yourself. I think the most important thing is educating ourselves and learning that way.
So what were some of the topics that you found yourself studying once you decided to walk this path, I guess, of enlightenment?
One of the main things is a lot of people don't, and especially, this is a true story, especially in a underrepresented minority group, a lot of people don't understand finances. So that's the main reason why I chose to even get an accounting degree and learn finances. Just simple things. A lot of people don't even know how to write a check. It's true, and it is usually the minority group. So I feel like for me, empowering myself financially is light years ahead of a lot of people. And if we could just spread that kind of knowledge to everyone else, then we could be a lot further than what we expect.
So what do you ultimately want to use this platform for? Hip hop music? What do you want to use it for?
The main thing is I honestly just really want to actually own a record label is my main goal, and I would like to help young people out. If I had a record label, my main thing would to be understanding the business. Before you even want to be an artist, I feel like you should understand business and finance. I'm big on being a CEO, being your own boss, learning money. that's my biggest thing. So that's what I would do: empower people to learn and be themselves and learn how to run a business themselves.
Okay. So you have any siblings?
I do. I have 2 brothers and a sister.
Younger, older?
Younger brother, younger sister, and an older brother.
Okay. Why I ask this because when you were talking about creating your label, it seemed that you have like this mentoring spirit, you know what I mean? That you just naturally want to guide people. So I want to know, where do you think you developed that from?
I would say my big brother. My big brother is definitely a mentor of my father. My father is definitely he will give you a story and a way to handle things all the time. And honestly, if it wasn't for him, certain situations I would have handled different. So if I had to put a finger on it, it would be my father.
All right, I got you. Okay, so there's a couple of things off camera that we were talking about that piqued my interest. So first of all, I want to know about your songwriting process, because you had said you dropped the tape and then you had a 2-year delay where you couldn't really focus on the music, right? So,
Yes.
But 2 years later, you still had enough confidence in this material to make this your official project and invest money behind it. So what's your thought process when writing a song to make it last so long and to still have that confidence in it after so much time?
I'm more of a emotional writer,
Okay.
and it could be anything, whether something actually physically happened to me in real life and it sparked emotion, or if I hear a song and it sparks an emotion, or if I just listen to a instrumental or beat somebody gave me and it makes me feel a certain type of way. If I hear anything and it makes me feel that way, I just start writing. Whether that's a chorus, a full verse, or a full song, I just start writing, because moods tend to stay forever, or it comes back. So if you feel a certain way one day, maybe 6 months later you might feel that way again, and you finish the song maybe 3 months later. So that's how I usually write my music. It's based off of emotion.
All right, that's good, and that would cause it to have a level of connection.
Yes.
With others too. So that's very important, and I needed to highlight that because I think something, and you can tell me if you agree or not, but today in hip hop, the potency of lyrics is not as prevalent as it once was. You know what I mean? So it's good to see artists taking that time and dedicating that time to their craft, to where they could continue to raise the standards, and you could create a project that is so potent and powerful that you could go on a 2-year hiatus and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It still has the same impact as day one. So I just like that, you know. And there was another thing that you had mentioned that I really liked, and it was about you were inspired by your delay, by the 2-year delay, to take advantage of every opportunity, basically of every day, once you had a chance to continue pursuing music. So I just want you to speak on it for a moment and tell the audience the importance of now, when you have a vision and you have a dream, pursuing it every day. Because like you said, in about 6 months you made more progress than you made.
Yes.
And yeah, so
yes.
Just speak on it for a minute for me.
I think progress is very important, and it could be the smallest things that you may feel like it's not important, but maybe a week later that small thing that you just did comes back and gives you bountiful gifts in life. But since I've been able to actually focus on music every day, whether that's mental, whether that's me reaching out to somebody physically, whether that's telling somebody. I mean, I've sent people at work my music. I'll see them. People I've never seen before, I'll speak to them, just because I feel like every day is another opportunity for me to come out, to bring my music out more to people. And one of the most important things I learned too is patience. We kind of live in an era now where everything is so fast and we just want it now. And I kind of fell under that trap too. And you can kind of get a little discouraged, but if you just keep working, eventually everything will come back. You got to have a vision and you got to work for it. It ain't gonna come easy.
And it was one more thing that you had mentioned. It was two different types of progress, because I asked off cam, do you make progress every day in essence? And you said, well, if it's not physical, then it's
mental.
Right. So just elaborate on that, because that's something that I think is undervalued as far as mental progress and all of that. So just speak on it for a minute.
I think the most important thing to me, like I said, is learning the actual business of it. Because if you learn the business of it, as far as royalties, how to register as an artist, just certain simple things, you can actually gain more than you would ever thought. A lot of times people go into the game and they don't really know too much about it. You could sign a deal that could cost you a lot of money, but if you just do some simple research, you can learn from that or learn from other people who made the mistakes in the past. Just simple mental research helps in every way.
Okay, so before we sign out, I want you to give the people your social media. I want to say, you're my first artist from America, and I appreciate you coming on board. You know what I mean?
Definitely appreciate being here.
Appreciate you expanding the platform to your audience, and your experiences have made you composed and very well spoken. So because I know before we turned on the camera, you mentioned you were a little nervous, but
yeah,
because you kept your composure and you did a great job. So before we sign out, let the people know your social media.
Oh, my Facebook is everything is actually / The Real CEO 1987. Facebook.com, SoundCloud.com, Instagram.com is all / The Real CEO 1987. And you can find my actual music video on YouTube if you just Google if you just YouTube CEO official music video Freedom. And it was shot here in the Bahamas at Fort Fitzcastle.
All right. Freedom, appreciate you gracing the platform, bro. Signing up.
All right.